What does that even mean, Bauer's Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game preview, another Kickstarter preview. And today I'm very excited to be checking out Sandwiches from Tree of Woe. This is for 2 to 4 players. Ages, I'd say about 6 or 7 and up. And it'll take about 15 to 30 minutes to play. And in Sandwiches, you will be, well, you really won't be making sandwiches, but you're going to be laying down cards and drawing cards and taking different actions and doing all sorts of different stuff, occasionally getting pickles, trying to be the first player to get 7 sandwiches. What am I talking about? Let's open it up, see how it plays. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Sandwiches. So, first and foremost, I mentioned this is the promotional copy of the game I have in front of me. The copy that gets sent to you once it gets funded might be nicer, shinier, different components, what have you. I always want to mention that at the get-go. First and foremost, we got our handy-dandy little rule card. It will get you on the ground and running. And then you're going to have cards, and more cards. This is a 32-card deck, and there are 2 kinds of cards that you're going to have in this deck. But first, let's talk about what you want to do in this game. In order to win sandwiches, you're going to need to make 7 sandwiches. Now, how do you make a sandwich? Good question. Let's get to how the cards work. So, let's take a look. This is going to be the typical layout of one of your cards. It's going to say sandwiches on the card, and it's going to have 2 actions. You're going to carry out these actions. They might say various different things like draw a card or look at your opponent's hand and draw one of their cards or put one of their cards on the bottom of the deck or put something on the top of the deck. They're going to have various different actions. You're just going to take those 2 actions and then you're going to discard the card to the bottom of the pile. Now, there's one very important thing I didn't mention there, and that's this text on the side right here. As you can see, there's a picture of a sandwich. This says draw 2 cards. Now, you're not going to draw 2 cards just because you have this card. How this works is, let's pretend that this card is in our hand. So we're going to put this card in our hand, and this guy is going to have this card. And then we're going to look, here we go. So let's just pretend that this guy decides to lay this card. And the first thing it says is draw 2 cards. Now I'd look at my hand and say, hey, the card my opponent laid says draw 2 cards. I also have my sandwich card that says draw 2 cards, which means I can play this and boom, I have a sandwich. And if you can get to 7 sandwiches, you will be the winner of sandwiches. So essentially, you're going to be waiting for your opponent to play specific cards so you can then collect the points for that card. You don't get to do the actions on them, but you get a point, which is way better than doing the actions. So, trust me, it's really, really simple. So, the other kind of card you're going to get is what is called the pickle card. Now, these are special cards. These can be used in a couple different ways. So, there's a couple different things they can do. First, you may discard the pickle from play, because you put it into play just like you would a sandwich, and you can ignore one of the effects on a card. So if somebody's about to come over and steal one of your cards or something, you say, oh no, I'm spending my pickle, you can't steal it. You may also put the pickle on a sandwich you have in play. If you do that, that's essentially going to give you a leg up if you end up tying at the end of the game. So that's what a pickle is going to do. Most of the time, I think you're probably going to use it though to negate a effect someone does. But that's just that's the other kind of card in the game. So we're going to do a real quick 2-player hand so you can see exactly how it works. So each player's dealt 1 card. You figure out who's going to go first, probably a fist fight or something, and then you are going to do your thing. And you draw a card at the beginning of your turn, and then you're going to play a card. Now, you draw and you play one. But if you only have 1 card in your hand after you draw a card, you have the option to not play a card strategically because, well, if you don't have any cards in your hand, then obviously you can't make a sandwich, which is the whole point of the game. So I do have 2 cards in my hand, so I have to play one. So I will, let's see. I'm going to do this one. It says, look at the top 2 cards of the deck, put them back in any order, and you may shuffle the deck if you'd like to. So I'll take a look at these top 2 cards. Now you say, why do I want to look at these cards? I want to look at these cards because I want to see if any of them have my sandwich thing that'll help me make my sandwich. My sandwich says discard a card to the bottom of the deck. So I'm going to look at these. I'm going to see if they have that message on there. This one does not, and that one does not. So in that case, I would want to shuffle the deck and hope that he is going to get a card, or she. Then my opponent is also going to get a card that will say to discard a card to the bottom of the deck. But anywho, Next, he would draw his one card, he would play one card, he would do this, we'd go back and forth, and eventually you'd start making sandwiches. And as I mentioned, the first person to get to 7 sandwiches is going to be the winner of the game. Also, if you happen to run out of cards, if there's no more cards in this pile, then the game is over as well, and you would just tally up whoever's the most sandwiches, and that's when the pickles as tiebreakers would really come into play. Last thing I forgot to mention is, once you've completed the actions on the card, you just slide it back underneath the deck, and you keep moving. And that is how Sandwiches is played. Alrighty then, Sandwiches from Tree of Woe. Who's going to be digging this game? Who might be interested in sandwiches? First and foremost, if you're looking for a nice, lightweight family kind of game, this will definitely fit the bill. It is very light. It is very family. I mean, there's a hint of strategy, but it's by no means a deep strategic game. But I will also say that it definitely is going to have more strategy than your very beginner game, like your Candyland and stuff like that. This is definitely a step up from that, so don't think that there's no strategy at all. Also, it's incredibly portable. This will easily fit into your pocket, into a book bag, anything like that, which is always something I enjoy when a game you can just slide in your pocket, take it with you, bust it out at a restaurant. That's always fantastic. But anywho, Sandwiches. If it looks like it's your cup of tea, be sure to check out the Kickstarter link below. They got a couple days left. They need just one more big bump, and they're going to be able to fund this bad boy. So check it out if it looks like it's your cup of tea. Tell them Bowers Game Corner sent you. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for your time, YouTube.
That was the preview for Sandwiches. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bowers Game Corner.